Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to see about types of extinguishers. So, what is that extinguisher? So, the extinguisher is nothing but controlling the controlling the fire. Okay. So, it is also meant to be for stopping the fire or to make the full stop for the fire. But sometimes we are also required to control the fire. So, that is what extinguisher do. Okay. So, before getting into the types of extinguishers, okay, usually there is a five types of extinguishers, but before getting into this five type of extinguisher, we needed to know about types of fire. Okay, there are six classifications of fire. Okay, so that is a class A, class B, class C, class D, electrical, and class F. Okay, so the class A, class B, and class C is the most common that we people are seeing. Okay, so class A comes under solids, that is wood, plastic, paper. These are all comes under class A kind of a fire, and class B fire, that is a flammable liquids. So whatever liquids that can be burnt comes under class B fire. For example, LPG, sorry, fuels, petrol, diesels, paints. Some paint also get burned up. So paint, solvents, these all comes under class B fire. And when we go for class C fire, that is an LPG, propane. These are all comes under class C fire. Okay, usually we in the kitchen room we are using an LPG cylinder, so that is comes under class C fire. Okay, so then class D, electrical. So class D is a metals. So we people mostly think that metals won't get fire, but under high temperature, um, the metals which is having a very low melting point would also get burned up. Okay, it starts melting at around 300 to 400 degrees Celsius. Okay, actually you can see during volcano eruption, so metals too burnt up. We people can see. Okay, so that is we needed to, for that we needed to control. That is a class D. That kind of a fire is a class D fire. Okay, so burning the metals. And electrical. So we usually see most of the newspapers in most of the newses we see when the industries are getting burned up, that is due to the electrical shortage. So the reason comes under electrical fire. Okay, so the equipments, computer servers, so these are also sometimes get burned up. So that is an electrical fire. And a class of fire, that is a cooking oil fire. Okay, so if you see in the modern kitchens, they have a ventilator, proper ventilator they would have. Okay, so in the that, because in foreign countries or in European countries they would use those kinds of ventilator, because the cooking oils usually get burned up there. Okay, so that is why the class of fire comes under the last, because it is the most least kind of a fire that could happen in this happens with the disaster. Okay, so now we go for the extinguisher, types of extinguishers. So there are five types. One is a powder, another one is a foam, third one is a carbon dioxide, fourth one is a water, and a wet chemical. Okay, so first if you take a powder extinguisher, okay, it is most commonly used in all types of fires except for the case of cooking oil. Okay, so why we are not using in the cooking oil is the major thing, because since it is a powder, since it is in the powder form. Okay, so since it is in the powder form, it will easily coagulate, and the powder would also start getting burned up because it is an oil condition. Okay, but when it comes under class A, class B, class D, and electrical, it tries to stop. Okay, it tries to control the outer environment to enter into the fire burning area. Okay, and the second one is a foam. So there is a difference between powder and the foam. I hope you could understand. So foam could be only used in solids and flammable liquids. We don't use any other way. Okay, so this for example, in the particular the powder extinguisher, we mostly use it in the outdoor locations. Okay, that's what have been mentioned here. So outdoor locations, there is garages, welding workshops, food courts. These are all the places that powder extinguisher is being placed. But when it comes under foam, okay, it is mostly being placed in the schools offices. Okay, because in schools and offices they won't mostly use gases. Okay, and the metals is mostly used in the industrial side only. The metallic fire could happen. Okay, and the equipment fire also could happen mostly in the industries or software companies. Okay, when you see in the software company, they would have CO2 and powder types of extinguisher. Okay, so the next one is a carbon dioxide fire type extinguisher, fire extinguisher type. Okay, so carbon dioxide is nothing but a removing of oxygen. So if the concentration of oxygen gets reduces, so what will happen automatically? The fire starts getting loses its control. Okay, so that is why to reduce the concentration, we are going to increase the carbon dioxide concentration in the particular environment. So while using this carbon dioxide extinguisher, the person handling the extinguisher should have a face mask or a face mask. He or she should have a face mask. Okay, and in the electrical conditions also we can use the carbon dioxide type of extinguisher. Okay, I hope you people easily could understand. And the fourth one is a water. Okay, so water can be only used in the solid type. Okay, there is no other place that we could use water as extinguisher. For example, in the flammable liquids, if you take a flammable liquids, that is a petrol, diesels, or anything, if you spill water on that, it will. What will happen is the fire will get burned up very fast. Okay, so that would happen. Okay, that sorry, it will be a spitting of fire. It will happen a spitting of fire, like that only it will happen. Okay, and also in gases you could not control the gas fire by using a water. Okay, that is the most reasonable thing you needed to know. Okay, and when it comes to the metal, so when you are using a water in terms of a metal fire, class D fire, so what would happen is the water would get easily evaporated and the fire won't be controlled. Okay, so you could not use in the class D fire. When it comes to the electrical fire, what will happen? The electrical short circuit will travels through the water. So there is also you could not use the extinguisher, water extinguisher in the electrical fire. And at last, cooking oil. So if you entered into the kitchen, you would know you cannot use water in the kitchen fire. Okay, because there will also be happen of fire spitting. Okay, and the last one is a wet chemical. Okay, so the wet chemical extinguisher. So this wet chemical extinguisher is it can be only used in the cooking sector. That is a kitchen side only we can use. Other than that we cannot use, because wet chemical is like an liquid form. It will be in the liquid form. So if you are going to use the liquid form, it can be only used in the kitchen side. Okay, so these are all the places. That is some examples for the businesses that may need this extinguisher. In outdoor locations, garages, welding workshops, we can use a powder extinguisher. Okay, and in schools, colleges, offices, hospitals, or any service apartments, we can use a foam type extinguisher. Okay, because there we can only use, there is only two types of fire could happen most of the time, that is solids and flame, class A and class B fire. Okay, and in third, that is office and server rooms. Okay, wherever the electrical appliances and liquids is being placed, where you can use CO2. Okay, and apart from that, water which is also can be used in the schools, hospitals, apartments. Okay, because it is a common extinguisher. Any common man would use water as a fire and extinguisher at any condition. Okay, and in kitchen or restaurants we can use a wet chemical extinguisher. I hope you people could understand what type of fire extinguisher should be used in what kind of a fire situation. Okay, but I hope that the fire situation won't happen. And thank you for watching the video. Thank you.